Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Audi Cycling YouTube channel, where today we're going to be taking a final look at the Velogames Italy competition, just rounding it up, some final thoughts, taking a look at my team, how I did, what the best team was, and just general lessons for us to be taking forwards into future competitions. So to begin with, my team finished just inside the top 4,000, so top 25%. We did drop outside of the top 100 for the stage race championship, but honestly I think it could have been worse considering that my GC aspirations were completely slashed. And I had no Carapaz, Yates, Del Toro, Derek G or whatever. So yeah, the team was it was fine. Overall, the good performers were Pedersen obviously and Fortunato. Groves and Pidcock both getting somewhere between 80 to 90 points per credit isn't too bad. Tiberi dropped off quite big time. If he didn't have that crash, who knows? Maybe Tiberi could have been a top 5 and this would have really saved the team a bit. Roglic was Roglic. Tarling did pretty much what I expected him to. Poles was disappointing when I could have gone with Prodom or Harper. I mean, Harper was a very high selected rider and really came in clutch pretty much at the absolute last, let's say, on stage 20. Before then, Harper wasn't looking that great. Bardet was okay, but considering that I could have gone with Caruso, who I was definitely thinking of putting on. Definitely when, thinking back to my first video that I did for this competition, I was thinking with Caruso. So overall, it's okay. I'm not that upset at it. I think it was just an okay performance overall. I think, if Roglic and Tiberi were remained in the race, perhaps I could have finished a bit higher up. So overall I think it was alright. We missed on a lot of the key players. I mean, in hindsight I was talking about how Pidcock I could probably get an equally good value for money rider at 6 credits. I mean, I could distribute the 4 credits and that would have worked if I would have put those onto Bardet to get Carapaz, for example. Maybe that would have been a better idea because Carapaz would have been a more solid GC option than Bardet. But speaking of which, let's go take a look at the riders' standings. Obviously, Del Toro with a huge performance of 270 points per credit because he was 10 credits. Insane from Del Toro, honestly. I don't think I was ever massively thinking of picking him, but just goes to show to not underestimate those wonder kids who come in at like 10 credits in a Grand Tour. They can really blow it out of the water. Pedersen, obviously, we're very fortunate to have him on the team. He'd absolutely demolished the competition. The next best sprinter was Olav Koy. He was pretty much on 100 points per credit. He was 1 point shy, but, I think we'll give it to him there, rounding up at least. So Koy was also a good option. And then, obviously, you got Carapaz and Yates rounding up the podium. Both of these also going beyond the 100 points per credit mark. Carapaz getting up more toward over 150, and Yates pretty much on 150 points per credit as well. Caruso did really good, actually, above 150 points per credit. So I really wish I would have gone with my gut feeling. So we'll have to follow that a bit more in the future. For sure, G is over 100 points per credit too. Koy, Caruso, Ayuso didn't hit it. Obviously, Roglic didn't either. McNulty did. Tiberi didn't, Wout didn't, Bernal didn't, Fortunato did, Pellizzari did, Roglic didn't, Groves didn't. If he competed in that, if that stage which Dens won came down to a sprint, I think Groves would have made it. Alois did, Max Poole did, Ciccone didn't, Scaroni did actually, a rare occasion where an 8 credit rider in the Unclassified does manage to. Pidcock didn't, Prodom did actually by a decent little margin. Yates and Storer, like I sort of predicted towards the start, weren't really that worthwhile, especially Yates at 16 credits. Ulissi was close. Who else? Did anybody else get 100 points per credit? Verona and Hola were pretty close. Arietta 2. What about the 4 credit riders? Maestri got pretty close and Garofoli got pretty close too, which is good to see considering that I kind of touted those riders. I guess let's take a look at the main leaderboard. So this is the winning team, which is just insane when you look at it. Like, first, where is it? Yeah, you got first, second, third, and 4th in GC, the Chick Lamina jersey. Wout van Aert, okay, he wasn't worth his 16 credits, but he was still very good at getting over 1,000 points. Pidcock, okay, might have been not the best pick, but 800 points is still quite good considering that he was relatively inconspicuous in the GC. Baumann, if this person just went with Tarling, which I don't know why they didn't do, but they could have even got a little bit more. Scaroni was a cool pick as well. So lots of GC focus here, and obviously betting big on no Roglic and no Ayuso. So absolute giga brain thinking here, but probably could have gone with Tarling as well. I guess taking a look at the riders, we'll take a look at, say, just go through category by category and see who was really good or not. So obviously Del Toro, G, Ayuso, McNulty, Taberi, Roglic. So the guys who weren't really worth it were Vine, Kelderman, Arensman, actually quite surprising it not to be that worth it. Bilbao and Danny Martinez. Obviously, the really good ones was pretty much just Del Toro and G and McNulty, I would say. Pretty much like everybody else either wasn't value for money or just didn't get that many points. So it was quite difficult to get the all-rounders correct. And given that I think the most optimal team was worth something like 92 credits, and nobody was going to do that. So pretty much everybody had one of Ayuso or Roglic in their team, so everybody was mildly disappointed at some point or another. But you would have been slightly less disappointed if you had Ayuso rather than Roglic, because you got a few more points and you spent less credits. The climber category, obviously, this is where I was saying I didn't really like this category. Boy, I was proven wrong. Carapaz, Yates, Caruso, Fortunato, Pellizzari, and Max Poole all being good choices. Ciccone was a good pick and definitely would have scored more than 1,000 points, but obviously a lot of I think I was somewhat correct in that I was looking through a lot of these riders and not liking them, and as you can see here, the majority of them didn't score particularly great, especially those which cost 6 credits. Micah actually was the best one of the 6 credit riders, just because what did he even do? I mean, he got one, is that even like a one top 10 on stage 19, and then he just did okay in the overall, and just loads and loads of assist points. So maybe if you see a UAE Team Emirates rider for 6 credits in the climber category, maybe in the Tour or something, maybe you should consider going with them. Sprinters, obviously Pedersen was the best, then Coy, pretty expected. Wout wasn't as much value for money, but was still good. Groves was value for money. Alois, amazing. Van Uden got that crazy stage win, and the rest of them actually weren't that great at all. So you really wanted Pedersen, and honestly, you probably, if you wanted another sprinter, it would have been Coy, but you could have used those credits to get more points out of GC riders. And then into the unclassified riders, you've got Scaroni got the most, then Pidcock, Prodom, Ulissi, Verona, and Hula. Obviously, Scaroni did really good when you look at the costs. So Scaroni was obviously the best one, then Ulissi and Vatsek. All of them actually doing a pretty good job. Pidcock's in his own league, and the sixes, actually only Prodom was the over 100 points per credit. Verona, Hula, Arietta, Baroncini, I remember giving a shout out to, just for he actually did all right. Harper, I recommended. Tarling as well. Plapp, Fiorelli, I remember giving a shout out to. So definitely quite a few riders that I pointed out who did quite well. I definitely remember Prodom, Baroncini, Harper, Tarling, and Plapp I pointed out. I've missed Verona, Hula, Arietta and stuff, so don't underestimate those assist points. And then the 4 credit riders, De Bont, Maetli, and Garofoli, and Stork match. The 4 credits actually kind of all picked up a decent amount of points. I definitely remember pointing out Garofoli and Stork, so hopefully they were useful to you if you did pick them. But that's pretty much it for this video. Not too bad of a performance, but let me know how you did. overall in the comment section down below. Were you happy? What things would you have changed in hindsight? And most importantly, what lessons have you learnt sort of going forwards into probably, like, you know, we've got the Dauphiné coming up and then into the Tour de France, and what sort of things have you learnt that you're going to take forwards into those races? But all that is left to say is to stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next video. Salut!